Greetings, subscribers, haters, trolls, and tropers. I'm Mario Potter, and welcome back to Let's Play Archangel. This is the final part of the series, and we're moving on to Mission 6, the Traitor's Trap. We're going to destroy a rival fallen Angle who's betrayed us and is working for the Defiance. So we got past history with this guy, or this punk, as I should say, because I think he heel-face turned out of jealousy. He's a bit angry at us because he got demoted and we got promoted and we're now the bosses. And so basically he joined the Defiance out of jealousy. And now we have a white Angle for this fight. This boss is actually really quite fast due to a programming error. You can destroy him in literally just a couple seconds. That was the cheap way to win, so let's do it a vaguely harder way. Basically, to explain, he has much lower health than you'd expect. Of course, he does teleport if there's enough bullets on screen, but you can still kill him quite easily if you use a lower powered Angle, or if you fly into his angle and counter the bullets. And so we beat him pretty easily. And then we confide in him that we've got some suspicions, because no one gets treated this good by the bosses, and basically we suspect there's something's going on. And it turns out something is actually going on, during this whole little conversation thing. Well, then we get interrupted, unfortunately, when Dark Angle gets shot in the butt by Zero, who decided to attack him out of nowhere and finish him off. Because we didn't finish him off, we just defeated him. And then, it seems like our rival's dying. This is a bit tragic. But then he proceeds to give us a very interesting piece of information. This is actually a pretty interesting plot twist. It's pretty cool, I guess. It turns out our good guy, our boss, Zero Fin, was actually a bad guy. He was a traitor. He arranged the terrorist attacks in the first place, so we'd beat him up and he'd get glory and get promoted and get rich and that sort of stupidity. So yeah, for a very easy boss, but the big plot twist is the big twist of this stage. Because of time constraints, pretty much the entire level was cut, and all that's left is the boss fight. And also because of a programming error, Dark Angle has a lot less health than he would normally. And so he literally goes down in just a couple of bullets. His attacks are still a bit hard to dodge, but when you can destroy him so quickly, it's not much of a big problem. You can teleport if you have too much shots on screen, but that's not a problem if you use a weaker angle like red. Yeah, by the way, we get the white Angle for that fight. And now we move on to stage 7, which is the final stage. We gotta go confront our boss Zero Fin, and we gotta go find him and punch him in the face. And by the way, you get a ton of money from defeating Dark Angle, so you can buy a lot of upgrades. Not all of them, but you can buy quite a few, so I buy a couple of those. Alright, it's time for the final stage, Mission 7 to Self. It's got no information, but basically we gotta fight Zero Fin, and he's the final boss. And he's actually a pretty darn hard boss. He's one of the... I don't know if you could call him the hardest boss in the game, but he's definitely a pretty strong contender for it. And yep, it's a boss-only level, just like the last one. And so we figured out, we've seen his plans. He used us like a tool, he worked for Defiance, and he had us destroy them so he'd get rich and get the glory. And we were his pawn. He just used us to do his terrible things, and intending to take over the domain. And so as a result, he's really a bad guy, even though he says he's not. He says he's working for the greater good. And he asks us if we'll join him, and you expect us to join him now. And then we proceed to tell him off and tell him he doesn't deserve to rule because he doesn't. And then he decides he's going to blow us up, which is cool and all sorts of stuff. And that quote, "Bring it on, loser leader," I know is sort of cheesy, but it's also managed to be extremely awesome because of the circumstances. Now we've got to fight Zero Fin, and he is that big thing in the background with the spiraling lance things. And now for his first attack, he'll shoot the lances at you from all sides of the screen. You can see where they're coming in from with the little arrows that show up. He fires them consistently in groups of 4, and they have trails of bullets behind them. You've got to lead them quite well, or else they're going to trap you in. It's a pretty awesome attack. It's pretty hard to dodge. I've always managed to die at least once to it. Fortunately, you get the white Angle for this boss fight, so it's literally... Well, so at least you can counter pretty much all of his bullets. It sure takes some time to counter the white ones. And now he's copying the first boss attacks anyway. he starts copying all the boss attacks. He's copying Stage 2's boss by turning the bullets stronger. Now he copies Stage 3 boss's Biocardiac by shooting out the tentacles. You can actually dodge this attack by leading it around in a circle. There's just enough room for you to escape each time, which is pretty darn nice. This boss is probably one of the best designed and most fun to play in the whole game. And the final boss music's pretty darn awesome as well. And especially special props to the music guy. And now he copies the Stage 4 boss by shooting out a spiral and also firing out a laser which sucks you around, which chases you around, while also sucking you in. I probably should have bombed there, in retrospect. But I do bomb there, and he has Ever attacks copying the Ever bosses, but I didn't give him a chance to show them off. Now he activates his limit break, the sun rises, even though that's not necessarily a good thing, and he starts shooting large streams of bullets in the foreground. You need to keep spinning your angle around and avoid the crosshairs as they slowly move towards you. And then here you've got to stay in between all the crosshairs, just like the first boss fight in the game. The very first sub-boss fight, anyway. And then he keeps repeating this with slightly different patterns each time. Sure, it's a bit narrow fit between these two, but it's not too much of a big problem, especially after all the other hoops you've had to jump through beforehand. Now he fires these huge slashes of energy bullets, which you need to lead out of the way and make sure you're not in front of one, and trying to get trapped into a corner. And be sure to remember where they're showing up. It's a pretty cool effect to have all these cool attacks in the background. And then he fires out this massive storm of bullets, which is probably just a good idea to bomb and get rid of, considering you have both the energy recharge upgrades, which you should by this point with all the money the last boss fight dropped. Compared to Dark Angle, it's a much longer boss fight, and in my opinion, it's much more awesome. Sure, Dark Angle is a cool boss fight, considering he copies your moves to some extent, but he just dies way too quickly. This boss against Zero Fin takes a friggin' forever. Even if you bombed to make him transition his final attack pattern, it still takes forever to deplete his health bar. And that's pretty much what takes up most of this video, just this last attack segment. I always seem to lose at least 3 or 4 lives to this guy. I think I died like 5 times during this recording. And they start using progressively stronger bullets in his attacks, moving all the way up from yellow to red, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem if you're a huge white angle at this point. Once you get the white angle, there's no reason to change back, because it's just so much more powerful than all the other ones. It doesn't matter how thin it is, because you can spin it around you like this. Overall, this game's got some pretty darn nice gameplay mechanics. It could use a bit more polish in the design department, but it's quite awesome and quite fun. I'm pretty sure those bullets wouldn't kill me, but I decided to destroy them anyway. Because we have true justice on our side, this is why we won, and also because we're cool and we got the angle and stuff. But because our boss betrayed the ideals of justice, he became a bad guy and we had to blow him up, just like all the other bad guys. So yeah, it's a pretty nice plot, I'd say. It got serious. It went from an excuse plot to vaguely serious. And now, because the rest of the police or enforcers are gonna be after us now for blowing up Zero Fin, we might as well we have to leave now, I guess. We can't just stay around here, they'll destroy us for being, because they think we turned on them. And so, unfortunately, our hero is forced to leave, no matter what, despite all of his good intentions and great actions. His true peace is not achieved, there's still evil out there, and now we have to leave because the police are going to blow us up. Because they're after us too now. And so boom, we fly off into the sunset, or sunrise, more accurately, and we win. And the thing is, you get $1 billion for winning. Is that a... Well, anyway, you get a metric crap ton of money for winning, so you can go and buy every single upgrade with stuff to spare. And so yeah, that's the end of the game. You don't get credits, the credits are available on the title screen. But you can start a new game plus by starting a new file. Or you can replay any stage you want at any time with all the upgrades bought and with all the angles accessible. So you can just go buy all the upgrades easily with plenty of money to spare, and you can keep beating each one of the bosses. Like you could beat Dark Angle 10 times in a row and get enough money to buy everything, but well, that's a lot harder than, just actually finishing the game. Anyway, With all these upgrades, it's quite easy to buy all these upgrades, and if you want to start a new game, you can access all